In the early 2000s, we saw the invention of the art of pickup, the pickup artists with the book The Game. And with this invention of an almost scholarly academic pursuit of knowledge regarding love and relationships and sex, it was almost an unprecedented, previously in history, not really done to the extent that it is now, focus on what actually needs to be done to seduce a woman. I mean, in history, you've had tons of seducers who were fantastic at what they did. You had Giacomo Casanova, who, Casanova, who was a real guy in Italy, and he wrote his memoirs on all of his experiences of seduction and adventure. You had Ovid during the reign of Augustus in Rome, who wrote Ars Amatoria. And so they gave tons of dating advice and sex advice. But it never really, from what I understand in our recorded history, became something like it did in the early 2000s. And what made this period so special is that for the first time, we just simply asked, what can get a girl and how do we do it? And we are not going to be bound by shame that society might put upon us to speak so openly about something that for a long time has been considered sacred, but is a pretty open secret that everyone's really trying to do their best just to get laid and to get relationships. And some people are just looking for sex. Some women are just looking to have a family. Some women are looking to climb to the top echelons of society, to become a princess or a queen and or a concubine of the king. And, some men are just trying to put their dick in as many places as possible for pleasure. Some men see it as, some sort of conquest of Earth with, Genghis Khan. I mean, he was conquering, but he was doing a lot of fucking as well. He was just having tons of sex, tons and tons of it, because, well, he had a voracious appetite for it. He wouldn't have been doing it if he only saw it as a way to produce children. He obviously enjoyed it in and of itself, but he saw it very clearly as a conquest as well. He would conquer the lands and conquer the women. So we understand all through history that sex is such a focus of our lives. But now, for the first time, we made it an openly discussed art, not something that you write in a memoir in your elder years and you leave posthumously for people to pick up hundreds of years later and learn from, right? It's something that we were studying right here and now and learning how to do it and going out and practicing it and going up to girls everywhere, clubs, bars, on the street, coffee shops, libraries, at our school, wherever. And we were practicing this art of pickup. And then after about, 10 years in the 2010s, I saw that this community started to splinter. And it became a lot of different subgroups. And these subgroups all evolved from that first very pure art of how do you do it. And emerging from that academic focus became a lot more people who were emotionally affected by that pursuit. So you had people who gave up on it. So you would get things like black pill or MGTOW, men going their own way, where they would give up on dating and they would have their reasons for it. Some legitimate, some not really worth going into right now. Then you would have the red pill, who instead of focusing only on getting women, they started gearing more towards a lifestyle change. So they focused a lot on getting in shape, getting money, becoming high status. But at the end of the day, they were still really chasing women just through an alternative means of high status and made women, in their words, made women a secondary objective. But, we can fool ourselves a lot of different ways. But at the end of the day, from what I see, most of us are still chasing pussy. And then you had more individual personalities that emerged, let's say, in the last 5 to 8 years. And you had the emergence of individual thinkers, or at least it appears that they're individual thinkers, but they're all products of what was going on in the early 2000s. And then you had the rise of guys like Andrew Tate and other sometimes infamous and sometimes famous personalities who are giving their own input on what to do to have a happy life regarding women. And some advertise for pure hedonism. Others advertise a traditionalist, return to conservative values approach. And then you still have lingering around the pure pickup artists and the pure, we're just going to teach you the art, which I would consider this channel, right? Girls Chase has been very purposefully avoidant of too many cultural comments on how we think society should be and how you should be. We just focused on, here's our take on the morality of dating. And then once that's out of the way, it's very simple, don't be an asshole, and love women, and then go out and get what you want. And we focused on that, but it's a very rare thing these days. With all of these splintered subgroups that evolved from the pickup artist community in the early 2000s, I've noticed that there's been a failure of two things. And this video is going to focus on the second one, but the first one is important to point out. Firstly, I think that because people fell away from the, let's call it the academic pursuit of learning what women actually want, we have become a little bit too focused on trying to change the world to fit our desires. And we've focused too less on do this and it gets you what you want. And as long as you're a moral person and don't deceive, and you're out to actually make women's lives better and the lives of the people around you better in the pursuit of your goals, be them hedonistic, romantic, whatever, as long as you're doing that, just focus on what works and what doesn't work, and leave the politics and the ideologies and trying to change the world to the others who are going to spend their lives fighting that pretty much fruitless fight. And so everyone has attached so many unnecessary ideologies to the art of seduction, and they forgot the actual art or science or academic pursuit in and of itself. And that's unfortunate, because so many people who, even if they're good with girls and less commonly good with relationships, they're very bad at teaching it, because what comes along with their teachings is their own personal experience with it, and they don't learn how to cut their personal experience and values from what was actually working, and then that dilutes their message. So I think that's been the first failure of this change that has come from the early rise of the pickup artists. And the second failure of these communities, especially those who are a little bit bitter, let's say, they have failed to remember that at the end of the day, we're talking to girls, and being around cute, beautiful, sexy women is fun. It's fun. It's really not that big of a deal, but I understand. It feels like a big deal. It's incredibly personal. I mean, when a girl rejects you, on some level, she's really saying you're not worth producing offspring with. Like, your semen is disgusting to me. That's kind of what she's saying. Even if you only interact with her for a half a second and you say, hey, excuse me, and she just ignores you and walks off. What she's saying is, my first glimpse at you has instilled me with such a either negligible or negative reaction that you're not even worth spending another second on. You are worth less than nothing is kind of what it feels like. Is it always what she means? No. But is that what it fucking feels like? Yeah, that's what it feels like a lot of times. So I know this feels incredibly personal, but it's not. I mean, it is, but at the same time, it's not. And if you can see it less of a personal thing, you're going to have a lot more fun with it. And if you can just focus on the process itself, remember that you're talking to girls, and this is the most difficult thing that I can teach you probably, to have some level of unconditional love for all women, you can make dating fun again. Now, let me explain those, and I'll go in order from the easiest one to the hardest one. So the easiest one is very simple. Focus on the process. Now, when someone says, don't have expectations, all right, yeah, okay, I'm an enlightened being, right? I'm the fucking Buddha. I can have zero expectations. All right, I understand. You're going to have expectations. So just telling you, don't have expectations, and then hoping you're going to like my video and say, oh, it's such a wise motherfucker right here. I get it. Having expectations is totally normal. But what you can do is you can take that craving that is in your mind for results and kind of turn, like, think of it as like a laser beam, and you're like, I want this, I want sex, I want relationships, I want acceptance. If you're honest with yourself and you really look deep down in your heart, find out what you want. Because if you don't think you want anything, 99.9% chance you're fucking lying, right? So you have expectations, you have cravings, you have desires. Look at what you're craving for and be aware that that's in the direction you're going. It's your North Star, right? But when you feel that come up as a thought, right? You're on a date or you're approaching girls or you're matching with girls on Tinder and things are not going your way. You're getting rejected. You're having awkward interactions. You get a kiss, but then she doesn't want to do more, or you have sex with her once, but then she doesn't want to see you again, or you do have a girlfriend, but then you break up, or she cheats on you. Whatever kind of disappointment you're encountering in your dating life while you're learning how to do this, focus, if you can, on the process. You're going to have expectations. I realize that, but every time an expectation arises and you get frustrated, you're having expectations when you get frustrated. So the moment frustration, sadness, disappointment comes up, that's a feeling. That feeling is attached to a desire. It's a result of a desire not being met. So as soon as you feel one of those negative emotions, go, wait a second. I'm expecting something right now. And try to look within yourself and find, what am I expecting? And when you find what it is that you're wanting and craving and expecting, think, okay, is me being upset going to get me closer to that goal? No. So I want to satisfy that goal, right? I'm not some enlightened being who's free of craving. But is me being upset going to get me closer to that goal? And once you meditate on that enough, you're going to realize the answer is no. So instead, aim that hot energy towards further action that is going to get you your goal. Secondly, remember you're talking to girls. They're cute, they're fun, they're silly. Let me just say this very simply. No matter what you've went through with women, I've been through equal or worse. The only person who can come to me and have a better argument for having a horrible time with women is if a woman has tried to kill you. Pretty much anything less than that, I've seen the worst of women, or I know someone who has seen the worst of women, okay? So any excuse you can come to me like, oh, no, I'm not going to have fun with women. Women suck. Trust me, if I can forgive women, you can too. And once you forgive women and you just see the process as cute, fun, sexy girls you're spending time with, it's so much more relaxing and so much less personal. And lastly, the most difficult one. I want you to try and have unconditional love for all women. Now, let me be very clear, because if you leave a fucking comment, I'm just going to laugh at you. I'm not saying you have to spend time with these women. I'm not saying that if a woman is a manipulative, bitchy, a horrible person, etc., you have to spend time with her, simp for her, give her attention, even spend 1 second with her. I'm not advocating that. But holding on to resentment and judgment towards people does nothing but hurt you. So if you can learn to forgive all people and yourself, because you haven't been an angel either, my friend. I very much doubt you've been perfect. You can't blame everyone for what's happened to you. If you can forgive all of these women and yourself and have unconditional love for them, no matter what happens, have boundaries and enforce them very strictly. But if while having respect for yourself and pursuing what you truly want in this life regarding women, you can also have unconditional love towards all women, I promise you, it will change your dating life in ways that I could spend 10 hours telling you and it wouldn't even become close. If you could learn to have love and just walk around and have love for all women, even the horrible ones, not only will your heart change, but women's perceptions of you will change so fucking dramatically. Just try it. If you can implement that, you can make dating fun again. If you can implement 2 of these, you can make dating really fun again. If you can implement all 3 of these advices, you probably won't actually need a lot of dating advice, because you're going to be having fun with the process, you're going to be enjoying your time with women, and you're going to be full of love. And that sounds fucking gay, and it sounds fucking nerdy, but it's fucking true. So go out and try it. All right. This is Hector Castillo, girlschase.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out our courses, because yes, I do make a living from this, then check out the description below. And if you want to sign up for coaching and get personal coaching from me, also check out the description below and sign up for a consultation call and we'll talk. So go make dating fun again. 2023, it's time. See ya.